What's up, everybody? Season 3, Episode 9 of SportsCasters starts now. We thank you for listening and hope you enjoy.
Boy, Russ ain't happy. He telling me that he needs more protection.
Nah, not happy at all. I don't blame him.
I seen something where I had just read it on like before we hopped on. CBS or somebody said that the only team that would, I guess, everybody would see Russ fitting in would be the Raiders. I was like, that's different. I did not see that. I'm guessing they're gonna trade Derek Carr and some picks for Russ. I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna happen, but okay.
Absolutely
A lot of people don't think their head coach likes Derek Carr too much, because they're even talking about it for a second with Houston that they're like maybe they'll trade for them. I can't think of his name right now, but what's his name? Gruden. A lot of people don't think that Gruden likes Derek Carr. That he thinks he's the guy to get him to the Super Bowl.
I mean, a team that I think would be happy to get Derek Carr, the Denver Broncos.
You don't believe
football team.
Y'all don't believe in Taylor Heineke? Did he re-sign for the Redskins?
2 years.
8.5. Like 8.5.
He ain't bad.
He's not bad at all.
You think they re-signed Allen?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Why? For what reason?
Maybe they think he's the future.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Season 3, Episode 9 of Sportscasters. I'm your host, Michaela Evans. This podcast is brought to you by Rells Revenge, official Slim Dev Music, Matt's SportsHouse, and AG Management. Today, I'm here with our founder, Chris Stubbs Jr., our two sports analysts, Sterling Harris and Matthew Anderson, and our two lovely guests, Hunter Stubbs and Jayden Simmons. So welcome, everybody.
All
right, we're going to kick it off. We're going to kick it off with Super Bowl recap. I'm just going to leave my comments. I'm disappointed in the Chiefs. Very disappointed.
After like going back and actually like revisiting that game a few times, I realized that yes, a small portion of it was some bad officiating, but nonetheless, a lot of it was just the defense just didn't show up when they needed to. A lot of it was, I think, Jalen Tart from last episode, he spoke on it really did boil down to the defense. Now, honestly, I knew the Bucs defense was like that. I just didn't expect them to come out the gate like that. I was like, God, that's crazy. But nonetheless, I just think that overall, I mean, Tom Brady, well done, got a 7 ring. The Chiefs, yeah, I mean, that's just the best way I could put it, honestly.
I was disappointed a little bit in the Chiefs receivers. Took Travis Kelce a little while to kind of get going there. But, man, shout out to that Tampa Bay defensive line. I think everybody's been talking all over on Twitter about how they were able to get pressure and just make Patrick Mahomes just have to kind of throw the ball on the run. And he still was able to make some magical passes, which is why I'm putting a lot of this blame on those Kansas City receivers. But defensive line really did what they need to do in order to get the team. And then shout out to the rest of like their linebacker core and all the LSU boys out there on the field for doing a good job to get the Buccaneers to win.
It got hard to watch after a while. I mean, I didn't know what it was like to watch a man get abused like that. Like that was tough. Shout out to the defensive line, but at the same time, when you have a couple backups here and there on your offensive line, it does throw you off a little bit easier to get pressure. I agree with Chris. There was a couple holdings and fouls that I don't think were holdings. But I do think that the game plan should have been different in the second half from Andy Reid, and it wasn't. They tried to play their original brand of football. I mean, they showed early in the first and second quarters where they had a corner and a safety on Tyreek and a corner and a linebacker on Travis Kelce. When you have Hardman and Pringle, who are also fast receivers, and you need yards, why weren't you running a post and a seam on the other side of the field? They're going to be in single coverage for the most part. I think there wasn't enough adjustments for the Chiefs, and it really hurt them in the long run in the second half of that game.
Was Sammy Watkins playing?
Yeah,
He
Sammy
played.
Watkins was there too. Yeah.
I think he was injured.
Yeah, I just feel like I feel like Eric Fisher's injury was a major factor into, the way that the O-line was playing this past Sunday. Like it just almost seemed like it was non-existent. I felt bad for Mahomes after a while, man.
So I simply just believe Mahomes just understood what it felt like to be Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers year after year, Deshaun Watson year after year, Cam Newton, his MVP year when they lost to the Broncos. I think Cam Newton got abused worse than Patrick Mahomes did in that Super Bowl with the number one defense on the Broncos that year. And it's something I've been trying to talk about for about a year now about Patrick Mahomes and the Mahomes wave and all of this stuff, is that you need a football team to compete and win a Super Bowl. And when you lose the line of scrimmage the way Kansas City lost the line of scrimmage, yes, it was to injuries, but when that happens to you and things aren't so perfect, now how do you respond? I got some heat for saying if you put Deshaun Watson in Patrick Mahomes' shoes last year, they still win the Super Bowl because that was a great team with a really solid O-line and great weapons. And I don't think Deshaun Watson, talent-wise, is that far away from Patrick Mahomes, if even far away.
Yes, but could Deshaun Watson make the throws that Pat was making in the Super Bowl?
Yes, he could. Actually, no, Deshaun Watson, I believe Deshaun Watson, if he played in this last Super Bowl, gave the Chiefs a better shot than Patrick Mahomes for the sole reason that he's more mobile. He's more mobile than Patrick Mahomes naturally. Patrick Mahomes, yes, he runs the ball here and there, but Deshaun Watson is more of a magician within the pocket in terms of escapability. I think playmaking out of nothing. Remember, Deshaun Watson got kicked in the face, adjusted his helmet.
He threw the ball 5 yards. This man threw 30 yards laying horizontal with the ground.
Delivered a strike that was completed for a touchdown. He can do all the stuff he want to do, but if it don't result in points, it don't matter. Deshaun Watson has done more things.
I like it.
I told you he's my worst enemy for a reason.
In the same type of situations where y'all talk about, well, and Mahomes was on Texans and if he was on these teams, he would do the same stuff. No, it's evident that he will not do the same stuff that Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, any of these elite quarterbacks that I stack up with them that haven't had O-line for years, still pushing their teams in the Super Bowl, still putting them deep in playoff runs, have done for years when y'all trying to leapfrog with Mahomes over everybody after he got set up on a great team. And even on top of that, I think who brought up the defense? Chris, you brought up the defense to the Chiefs?
Yeah.
Or Hunter? I thought the Chiefs defense played well last what was that, Sunday night? They actually played pretty well. I think what bit them in the butt was special teams. Think about it. The Chiefs was down 10-3, I believe, or something around that, or 14-3. And they end up holding Tampa Bay to a field goal. But special teams happens, you line up offsides, and now you get Tampa Bay an opportunity to score a touchdown.
And you also had
field position was trash. Exactly. Field position was trash too. All three phases of the game came into effect, and it started with the O-line for Kansas City. You can't throw post routes if you can't step into it. If you was talking about throwing post routes to Mecole or Pringle or whoever else, if you can't even step into the throw, what's the point of even drawing the post route? Everything needed to be either shallow and quick, and Mahomes, after he saw his first read go, never progressed any further than that. If anything, we saw the lack of progression in terms of Mahomes and what happens if plan A and B isn't working. Can you dissect the defense like I've seen maybe Wilson do, Rodgers do, Mahomes do, Watson do, in terms of dinking and dunking and picking up chunk yards while proceeding to score a touchdown?
So I'm trying to figure out which one I want to hit on first. So I'm gonna hit on the defense first, and then I'm gonna go to Deshaun versus Mahomes.
Deshaun for president.
Defense, I do understand that at the end of the day, yes, special teams played a huge factor into pretty much the demise of how Kansas City lost. Well, nonetheless, to an extent, you still allowed 31 points dropped on you, regardless of whether it was special teams. At the end of the day, when you got scored on, it was because of your defense at the end of the day. So I guess my point is, yes, special teams, with the offsides, and that was dumb. I don't know how you do that, but hey, it is what it is. But nonetheless, you still got 31 dropped. So my thing is, if we were saying this for the duration of the year, Kansas City's defense was like that. I mean, I would say top 5 in my personal opinion. So my thing is, as a top 5 defense, you got 31 dropped on you. So I guess that's just my thing about that. And then going back to Deshaun versus Pat. Okay, I'm gonna choose my words lightly. Deshaun, to me, has a case of being top 5 QB in the league, depending on who you talk to. Now, as a fan, I want him to come to Carolina. As a fan, as an analyst, that's not gonna happen. But if you're looking at Mahomes and what I saw from that Super Bowl, a lot of the things they can do some of the same, but Pat Mahomes just took it to a whole different kind of level. Like when you got other receivers on the other end saying, "Oh, that dude's a magician. That dude's crazy." Da da da. I've never heard receivers say that about Deshaun. I've never
in
seen
a game.
What do you think they thought about Deshaun? He got kicked in the eye. He readjusted his helmet and threw a touchdown pass to Derek Fells in the end zone. What do you think those
like
about
I said,
Deshaun?
I've
We had the mic
never
up.
heard that. I've never heard.
We had a mic up. I'm pretty sure the defensive players just like, ain't no way he just made that play. Deshaun Watson has made plenty of plays last year in the playoffs versus the Bills, right? Get sandwiched.
Yes,
absolutely sandwiched, and still spins out and makes a play and leads his team to victory.
It's the receiver.
They was up 24-0 on Kansas City's heads until Bill O'Brien decided to do a fake punt for no reason. He was beating the living crap out of Mahomes last year in the playoffs until Bill O'Brien happened.
We're not saying that Deshaun is less than Mahomes. I think, honestly, after what I saw from this season, I think to an extent you can make an argument that they're about neck and neck. I'm just saying because Mahomes was able to do what he was able to do on the biggest stage in football. Like, I've never seen a quarterback literally lay horizontal in the air, still throw the ball and hit the receiver in the face.
That's what I was trying to say.
Like, and it's not taken away from Deshaun and him getting sandwiched and him getting kicked in the eye and this, that, and the third. I'm just saying you put what Mahomes did on the biggest stage in football and him still being able to at least get the ball to his receivers. And going back to Matt's point, I blame receivers to an extent because it's like, dog, Mahomes is like literally throwing the ball here. All you have to do is catch it. And it is like, dude, I feel bad because it's like at least Deshaun's receivers would have caught the ball.
Would they? He led the league in passing with some pennies at receiver this year. And then even, I mean, what do you mean? What has Patrick Mahomes done on the biggest stage in football in his 2 Super Bowls? What exactly has he done?
No. I'm not saying what he's done in terms of success and him winning. I'm just saying the fact that he was able to display what he was able to display, given all that has happened to him and his team, he was still able to somewhat try to make light out of the situation. I'm not saying Deshaun wouldn't have done it. I'm just saying at the end of the day, Pat Mahomes was there, Deshaun wasn't. That's all I'm saying.
Hold on, let me also say this. These receivers are probably lucky that wasn't like a Matt Ryan or a Tom Brady. Because Matt Ryan and Tom Brady, they kind of let their receivers have it. Patrick Mahomes is more of a guy that kind of motivates everybody. Y'all, come on, we'll get it next time. You see Matt Ryan chewing out receivers for not catching the ball whenever he throws it to him. Now, he's gonna leave Julio Jones alone. Let's be very clear. He ain't going at Julio like that. But for the rest of the guys, he goes at him. So that was kind of because a lot of times the ball would like slip through their hands, like hit them in the face. And obviously, like y'all said, this is the biggest stage of them all. So everybody just sitting at home like, bro, he just threw that ball horizontal. Also, you saw Patrick Mahomes a lot in the first quarter doing a lot more scrambling. And where I guess, Sterling, to your point, Deshaun might be able to turn those plays in a little bit further. But Patrick Mahomes just does a way to get away from the pressure, maybe get that first down, and he's getting out of bounds almost immediately. Deshaun, especially in his earlier years, he runs into those guys and may try to get those extra 1 or 2 yards.
I just looked at it and I'm saying we're trying to find every reason to give Pat some sort of like pass here when I've been trying to display that Pat has been given his team. He was presented with a silver platter of an opportunity when he came into the league, and this is his first time where he's had to deal with actual adversity in terms of personnel issues, in terms of the offensive line, things that Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, quarterbacks like even Deshaun Watson, all his years, I think he's been hit I don't know how many times, have dealt with for full seasons and still brought their teams and carried them to the playoffs. And the thing about even the horizontal pass, it was an awful pass. I mean, if Devin White just times his
Huh?
jump correctly, it's an interception. He was sitting right in front of the dude. It's not like he threw it in some tight window. Devin White just mistimed the jump. It was just an awful jump by Devin White, and even then, he still got a hand on the ball. So it's not like it was, oh my God, the dude was wide open. He's throwing it like in the air of everything, just hoping somebody catches the ball. And then even in terms of, like, you talk about Mahomes and the O-line, I think Deshaun Watson personally reads defenses better than Patrick Mahomes. In those situations, he will understand the adjustments to make mid-play and understand I can't sit here and try to do 15-step drops every single play because it's clearly not going to work. It's clearly not going to work. And then in terms of like the defense, you're talking about how it ends up being the defense anyway. I mean, how many cases have we seen of defenses giving up points because the offense just is not scoring? How many 3-and-outs did the Chiefs have? Or maybe one first down, and then Bucs get the ball back. And after all of that, they came up with big plays when they needed to. They got stops. They forced a stop on the 4th and goal. they had momentum plays to try to keep the offense in the game for most of the game. So I just think it was just the Bucs were just a completely better team. One, they're just a better team. You lose the offensive line, you're going to be in trouble. I mean, it's just. And at the same time, I think Watson does a little more stuff that would have gave the Chiefs a better shot in that game than Mahomes did.
So since we are already comparing quarterbacks, I want to switch on over and ask, do we think that Patrick Mahomes has lost his GOAT status after this loss to Tom Brady?
He never had it.
I'm boycotting first take because of what Stephen A. Smith said. I personally think that now, granted, do I think that are we giving him that kind of credit a little early? Yeah, I believe so. Now, is there a case where he could get to that status? Yes. I don't know who deemed that being the criteria. Like, Stephen A. Smith never played football a day in his life. I could see if it was, Shannon Sharp making that case, but no. So nonetheless, I think that we probably have given him that kind of credit a little too early. Granted, only this is his second Super Bowl run and only his now 4th year. So he's making steps to get there. I just think we're trying to deem him too early, which a lot of people do. They try to give credit too early, too soon. But nonetheless, yes, he can definitely reach that status, even if losing to Tom Brady.
Yeah, I agree with Chris. Like, I feel like a lot of people were pushing it a little bit too early. But like what we've seen from him in his first 3 years is an MVP, 2 Super Bowl appearances, and a championship. So, I mean, if he keeps up on that career trajectory and if he continues to win, I don't see why one Super Bowl loss would completely diminish his legacy. I mean, Tom Brady has 3 Super Bowl losses, and we all see him as the GOAT. So,
I respect it, but he ain't my GOAT.
As a quarterback?
Like I said, I got personal reasons why I don't like Tom Brady. I respect the man, like, as a quarterback, but I don't know, just something about me. I just can't get it. I just can't.
I don't know who else he gonna put in front of him that would make okay.
I mean, my case being, as far as that, if we look at that just overall top to bottom, just everything that a quarterback can do, whether it's passing, running, all that, I give it to Aaron Rodgers. Just me personally. I just think Tom Brady, at the end of the day, you give him his respect. After the Super Bowl, I definitely give him his respect. Me personally, I've never given it to him just in the first 6 he's won, just because I never liked Tom Brady. But now after watching, I'm like, dang, that man really is that dude like that. But just personally, I just cannot call him the GOAT. Just me personally.
I think it's tough with that argument of the whole Pat versus Tom GOAT debate. I think Patrick Mahomes has huge potential in front of him that Tom Brady did not have, being picked in the 6th round versus as Pat falling behind 4 or 5 quarterbacks. But if I had to say, I think I agree with you, Chris, about donning the GOAT status a little too early. But I feel like going forward, if you look at their team in a 10-year, $500 million contract, they've got Tyreek here for a couple more years. They've got Travis Kelce for a couple more years. And then they have vets like Sammy Watkins and all those guys that, depending on how free agency and how careers go and injuries and things of that nature, he could possibly have more Super Bowl appearances and more rings than Tom Brady because he's starting so young and is on such a high trajectory. I mean, he's only lost 6 games in 3 years with the Chiefs. I'm not saying he's going to be the GOAT or he is the GOAT. I just think that his trajectory is pointing him that way, and that's why everybody has that argument with Pat. Is there's never been a quarterback come in and go 2 Super Bowls, MVP in 4 seasons. Like that's a little tough to argue with. So that's my argument on it. I don't think he is the GOAT. Tom Brady's got down locked 7 rings. I'm sorry. I'm like you, Chris. I don't like him, but I got to give him his respect, but he is the GOAT. But in my opinion, I think give it time in another year or two. If he's still in Super Bowls year after year, still winning, still competing, that team still putting up numbers the way that they do with their offense, I think then this conversation can come back up and be like, all right, what can't this kid do?
Yeah, I was about to say, for the time being, the AFC runs through Kansas City. Unless Buffalo can do something about that, or one of these younger quarterbacks can maybe come in and establish himself in these franchise. Also, see if Herbert could do anything with the Chargers. See if they can make something happen because they were able to play them pretty well, the Chiefs well in the regular season.
Yeah, I mean,
offensive rookie of the year. I'm sorry, my bad. Stubbs.
Yeah, he got it over Justin Jefferson.
Unfortunately, he did.
I did not appreciate that.
Yeah,
That made no sense to me. That made no sense. I was like, I could have just gave it to both of them. I mean, Jesus. But yeah, I mean, Patrick Mahomes, do I think his ability to become the GOAT is canceled forever? No. I think there's still other quarterbacks that are actually in that conversation. That doesn't include him because I don't think he's in that conversation right now. He's only been in the league for 3 years and has won 1 Super Bowl. He's had 2 very subpar, to say the least, Super Bowl performances. I gotta see more from him, I feel like, in that game too. Like, I know he got the MVP last year. I don't think he deserved the Super Bowl MVP last year. I think I should have went to Damian Williams personally. But hey, is it over for him? No. Is Tom Brady still the GOAT? I mean, he was the GOAT last year. The GOAT this year. Really doesn't matter. Yes, he is. I don't believe that, it's still a deal of circumstances here. So, am I going to punish Mahomes that badly for losing this Super Bowl? No, I'm not going to punish him because we all recognize the offensive line. Special teams had a big factor doing it because I look at not just a quarterback versus quarterback matchup, but how does the team match up? Brady, I think he personally, I guess you could say, won 3 Super Bowls, in terms of, or at least had great performances in 3 Super Bowls that he actually played in and won. But I still give him the GOAT. I don't give him credit fully for all of his rings, but I still give him credit for those couple of Super Bowls where I was like, okay, Brady was the best player in the field or whatnot. But I still think there's other players like, Aaron Rodgers that's actually in that conversation. Peyton Manning's in that conversation. Joe Montana's in that conversation. Those type of guys have done it for a long period of time, have the records, have the MVPs, have the appearances at the very least to get there. And truthfully, I don't know if Kansas City makes it back after this year. I don't know if they can get back to the big game after this year. This is their best shot. This is their best shot. This is their best shot to I think win back to back. Just look at Seattle, right? There's another guy we could have said was on this type of trajectory. Russell Wilson in his second season won a Super Bowl with Seattle. Also went to back-to-back Super Bowls, lost to Tom Brady not in a similar fashion where Russell Wilson almost won he could have won the game had they just ran the ball, but still lost to Tom Brady. And then after that, business gets involved with the team. You had a shot this year. Injuries happens. It happens. That's the sport. It didn't happen. And I think after this, Some people could leave Kansas City. Teams can start to figure him out because teams have been close to beating this team. It's not like they've obliterated people in the playoffs, right? Almost every playoff game last year, they got down by double digits. Teams just didn't close it out. Even this year versus the Bills just didn't close it out. The Browns had everybody shaking for a quarter in Arrowhead. So I don't know if they make it back. We're assuming they're going to be there for the next 10 years because Mahomes is on the team, but I don't think that the AFC, which is actually a very, very stacked conference, I think it's super stacked. I don't think they're going to sit there and let Mahomes go back there for the next 8, 7, whatever years and just win Super Bowls. So
fun fact, Patrick Mahomes was in kindergarten when Tom Brady was in his first Super Bowl, which I think is kind of crazy. Can't fathom that, but also I agree with like Hunter about him being like too young to kind of give the status, but I think he's definitely on the come up for sure.
He should have never had that attached to his name. Sorry.
So I know Matt brought up new QBs coming in, so we're gonna do like a little QB frenzy kind of thing. So where do we think these new QBs are going, and then Deshaun Watson as well, and like what do we think is gonna happen to Carson Wentz?
What we gonna say first? Let's go Deshaun. What y'all think will happen to Deshaun? Let's go down the list. Chris, you go first.
I think he's leaving. I think it'll be one of those cases where he leaves like literally kind of almost right before the season starts. I don't know. I said where he would go. I really don't know because if you hear people who are close to the teams and everybody's saying something different. I'm gonna say where I would like for him to go as an analyst, kind of just watching him and knowing how he plays. I think he would be. I would like to see him in Miami actually, just because the weapons are there, defense is coming up. Putting him in that situation would actually elevate that team to go further in the playoffs. As a fan, just tell him to put on the Carolina blue at the end of the day. That way I can go actually see him and actually, watch him play. But nonetheless, I feel like those two teams, I really do see him going and actually striking.
All right, Hunter, what you got?
I think trade value wise that the Texans could get the most out of it. I say Carolina. You've got the picks there. You have very valuable young players on both sides of the ball that you could go without. Obviously, you got Spider-Man, Brian Burns, Jeremy Chin. You can't get rid of either one of those on defense. In my opinion, I said this last time I was on the show. In my opinion, I'd get rid of DJ Moore or Robbie Anderson, and then sign a veteran in free agency. And there goes Deshaun. They have a decent offensive line. They have two college head coaches. Deshaun's game with the read option type style of football, if they could iterate that and not go to a more traditional style offense, because Joe Brady and Matt Rule will find a way to win ball games with them.
All right, what you got, Jayden?
I think for the time being, Deshaun Watson isn't going to end up getting moved. I feel like the new GM has made it apparent saying that, they're not trying to get rid of him. I know Deshaun doesn't want to be there, but, the ball's in the GM's court. I feel like for now, Deshaun's going to stay a Texan.
All right, and Sterling, what you got?
Yeah, I agree with Jayden. He's untradeable. Like, honestly, he's kind of an untradeable player. You're not going to ever get equal value for Deshaun Watson. He's too good. If you make that trade and that's your first move as the new GM, you make that trade, you will be hated by the fans forever. He just got there, and that's the first team. The only team that even has the best package for him would be the Jets. That's the only team that would have the best package for him. I feel like with the combination of picks and all they can give up just to get him. But then you send him there, the team is gutted of the little picks they needed to try to actually build the team up around like a Darnold or whatnot. And now you're going to stink. Well, not stink, but you're going to be in a conference with the Bills. The Patriots will most likely be back. Miami's really good. I just don't want that situation for him. So I think he ends up staying in Houston, but uses this, this like affair or whatnot, whatever you call it, as cover to gain some more control in the organization, because people outside know that the organization is in the wrong. It's almost apparent. People inside and outside the building know they're in the wrong and that Deshaun's in the right. So he can actually gain some leverage and some power through this kind of public fight with the Texans. And he finally gets some things that he wants. So
are we all in agreement that Trevor Lawrence goes to Jacksonville?
Yeah,
yes.
for sure.
Okay, gotcha. And then Carson Wentz, I'm hearing some talks about him maybe going to the Colts or the Patriots. If I had to guess, I think he goes to the Colts. What do y'all think?
I say
hope
the
not.
exact same thing. I said the exact same thing earlier today. I think he goes to the Colts.
Honestly, I'm not gonna sit here and disrespect the man. I mean, when this all first happened, like the first thing I said to the TV was he shouldn't even have a starting job. But I'm not gonna sit and disrespect him like that. Nonetheless, I mean, if he goes to the Colts, I think that'll be a sort of a decent fit for him. I'm not really sure. Just have to see how it is and see how he plays. But nonetheless, if you're just trying to get rid of him, just send him somewhere. I guess the Colts would be the best fit for him. If the Eagles are just trying to get rid of him.
Colts getting rid of whenever they went out and got oh my gosh, I'm drawing it. Phillip Rivers. I was like, so they're that kind of team. Because I would like to see Jacoby Brissett. So whenever they went out, okay, I see what's going on here. And so I wouldn't be surprised. And I guess the last guy I would ask y'all about is Trey Lance. What do y'all think about he ends up landing?
Oh, wait. I didn't even get to answer your question, Matt.
Oh, my bad. Hey, go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't even get to answer. Yeah, nah, Philly, I don't know why the coach made that deal. I don't know for what reason would you go and trade for Carson Wentz for? What? Nah. I think they can do it with Jacoby Brissett or even start Jacob Eason, because truthfully, I think the Colts may be the best team in the AFC next year. So just don't mess it up at quarterback. Send Carson Wentz to Chicago to rot. I don't know what he's asking for a trade. What's he asking for a trade for anyway? They fired the head coach for you. They brought in the guy that you liked for you. What you asking for a trade for? You ain't got the same means like Deshaun. What you asking for a trade for?
So I guess my thing is if you're sending him, to your point, you send him to Chicago. Isn't that pretty much the same thing as, teaming him up with Nick Foles again?
And Nick Foles beating
him. That would be the flop. That would be the swap. If he goes to Chicago, Nick Foles goes back to Philly.
That's not happening.
But I just want him to go there and he can rot with Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy, and they can all get fired in like 2 years. So it'll be fine for Chicago. Greatest thing they can do.
All right. Well, I guess we'll go back on Matt. We're going to bring up Trey Lance? Sorry, Michaela.
No, I didn't know if y'all had anybody else that were.
Yeah, I want
to talk about Cam Newton too, though. I think that's somebody that I think everybody is literally I think they're trying to do the same thing like they're doing with Lamar, trying to do that to him. Granted, their situations are pretty much the same. I mean, like, who did they have to throw to throughout the entire season? I feel like if Cam goes back and teams up with Ron Rivera, who knows? I like that. I would love to see that. I mean, granted, I'm not really.
Him and Terry McLaurin.
Yeah. Did I say Redskins? I'm sorry. Football team. I got to get used to that.
The football team.
That's my dream scenario.
Right. I would love to see that.
That's my dream scenario.
Honestly, I think that given what he has learned from Bill Belichick, with this season, I feel like he'll bring a whole new aspect to that team. And then, granted, we already saw football team gave y'all's GOAT Tom Brady a headache. Granted, Tom Brady came out with the win, but nonetheless, that wasn't no, easy walk in the park. So who knows? I like the chances.
I mean, the thing about about Washington and Cam, I think for Cam, for me, I think either go back to New England or go to Washington. Just simply because
Patriots said they did not want him. Cam said he did not want to be there.
I don't know. I haven't seen that. I think they're going to play hardball and see like if any other team scoop him. If not, then he'll, I think, gladly sign with New England again for a minimum again just to play. Because I mean, let's look at New England's season this year. They finished 7-9 with 9 opt-outs on defense, hurt O-line, no weapons, and they finished in how many one-possession games did they have this year? 4 or 5? Exactly. They win those one-possession games. They're 12-4, 13-3, 11-5. They're in that ballpark. And they make the playoffs, and that's with all the issues they had.
And what people don't realize is this is Cam's best passing, or this is the season he was the most accurate as a quarterback.
So I think a lot of people saying, "Oh, he can't pass," or this, that, and the third. I'm like, did you not see the season he just had?
I mean, get him Allen Robinson. Just get him. Like the thing with him and Lamar, just get him. If Cam goes back to New England, get him Allen Robinson. If you're Lamar and you're Baltimore, go get Allen Robinson. That's the perfect guy to be their number one type of receiver. They're big, strong, physical, can run every route, can go get you one-on-ones on the outside. Like that's the guys you need. And if he goes to Washington, all Washington got to do is just draft a dude, either that 15 slot, or they can trade back, get more picks, and then take a dude that can go down the field and stretch the field for you. That's all I think Washington's really missing over there. So I would love that for Cam personally. Either those two scenarios would be great.
Oh, pause. Go back. Hunter, going back to your Panthers take for Deshaun. You said give up the DJ and Robbie. I'm gonna tell you why.
Not both. Not both.
Oh, one or the other. Either one or the other.
They both can go.
I'm gonna tell you why, even if that was on the table, why that would not work for the Panthers. Honestly, you keep those two. Robbie, you said you need a vet. Robbie is considered a vet. I mean, yeah, he's 28, about to turn 29. Yeah, he's about to get in that vet status now. You look at somebody like DJ. At the end of the day, I've harped on DJ for the longest, and I've seen his flaws.
Don't like DJ. That's why I'm okay letting him walk.
Gotcha. I mean, me personally, I see potential in DJ. I think that he just honestly needs to get with like how all these other receivers do in the league, get with a TO or get with Ocho Cinco, somebody who's been in the game and know what it takes to be a receiver. Get with somebody like them and actually train at the end of the day.
I mean,
you want me to tell you what I think of DJ Moore? You'll get a giggle out of it.
Talk to me.
He's a diva with no bite.
Why
he
you say
wants
that?
the ball, but he doesn't want to do anything to get the ball.
So you're saying great separation.
He wants to be a star receiver, but does absolutely nothing to make himself a star receiver.
Hence why I say go back and actually train with actual receivers. Like everybody in the league does it. They go back and hit up, one of the old heads. Hey,
I mean, there was people doing it with Dez when Dez retired and then came back and then.
Right.
I mean,
so
I'm sure he tries, but he just doesn't got it. Like when you have to hit a receiver. Like look at Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb. You know when you have to hit a receiver. DJ Moore's been in project mode for how long? We had 4 years. Like it's just not there. He might be a good player, but he's not going to be your number one. That's evident at this point.
First round pick on DJ Moore when there was way better receivers on that draft board. When they drafted DJ Moore, every single person said, "Why are they drafting this kid so high?" The only person that didn't is Steve Smith, and Steve Smith loved the pick because DJ Moore reminded him of himself. The kid has not proved he's Steve Smith once.
Well, there's never going to be another Steve Smith. Let's get that out of the way. Steve Smith is one of one. He's his own guy.
Right. I think personally, Steve Smith is a kind of guy after, watching him and listening to him, he's the kind of guy like, look, I'm not about to sit here and train you. You're going to come to me. If you want to work, if you want to get better, you're going to come to me. But going back to that trade package, I think the best receiver for them to trade, and I've said this for the longest, get rid of Curtis Samuel. Because at the end of the day, he's another Christian McCaffrey. You don't need two of them.
He's a free agent this year, right?
Exactly.
You can't trade him no more.
Yet.
I don't know if you can still trade him at that point. I think if he's about to go into it, you can't trade him.
Is because of Sterling's argument earlier that Deshaun had nobody to throw to. He had pennies, as Sterling called him.
Right.
Who was his receiver core? For
Willie Snead.
If you give him a receiver, giving him something. Kiki Kute, I know that.
Like who was he throwing the ball to?
I can give you one.
I mean, my thing is, yes, I feel like the receivers that Deshaun had were pennies. But at least if he comes to Carolina, if that's a big if, won't happen. But hey, if he comes to Carolina, now he's throwing the dimes. Okay, maybe throw the quarter here and there, Robbie. Because
he's throwing to the nickel.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's something better than what you had. Though, at the end of the day, like you gotta, as a team, you gotta have some kind of value for other players to want to come. Nobody wants to come play in Carolina because everybody saw what happened to Cam.
And you play a fun system, you will get people to come play with you. So I say with 2 college coaches and a run mobile quarterback, with Christian McCaffrey in the backfield and 1,000-yard receivers on the outside with Deshaun Watson, think of what the offense would be.
It ain't gonna be nothing if we ain't gonna build an O line. That's the first order of business.
That part.
We've seen that just this last Sunday. We can get all these flashy weapons we want. If we ain't got them boys up front to block for you, it don't nothing matter. It does not matter.
It comes full circle.
It does not
I don't
matter.
care what we get in the first round. I mean, it better be some Trey Lance. If we don't get Deshaun,
it's going to be a defensive player. We're the Carolina Panthers. You know that.
Don't do that. I'm harping on Trey Lance. Because Sterling got me hooked on him now. Like, after I seen the one game that he played in, I was like, dang, this dude's pretty dope. I'm harping on him. The second round, if we do not get an offensive lineman, I'm be mad.
So look, if we don't go Trey Lance this year, at least go O-line. Like, the thing with the Trey Lance is, I'm saying go Trey Lance with the assumption that the organization is going to handle him properly. Don't throw him out there this year. Let him sit for a year. Develop behind, the dudes you're paying. You're now paying him to be a teacher. Teddy might not have the physical tools, but I think Teddy would be a great teacher for a dude that he knows is going to come take his spot. So,
how to fill up the water bottles or fill up the water coolers? Which one?
I mean, no, for real. But Teddy's been behind Drew Brees. He understands football.
Exactly. Teach him how to fill up the water bottles and water coolers.
At least how to understand the way, be professionals, things like that. But I think we manage Trey Lance properly, the way the Chiefs managed Patrick Mahomes, because they managed him perfectly. That was the perfect way to manage a QB that you're going to have become the face of your franchise. Follow that same route, and Trey Lance can be the guy for the next however many years. That's how I view it.
Panthers coach wasn't Andy Reid.
Don't matter.
Quarterback whisperer.
That's fine.
That touch.
Y'all seen what Joe Brady did with Joe Burrow? Yeah. I'm not saying he's Andy Reid, but we've seen the dude on our staff already take one dude from here and take him here in a year. So, they grow together. They get that chemistry, and there's nothing better than your quarterback and your OC, whoever the leader of your defense is, your DC, always be on the same page. I mean, that's how Brady was with McDaniels. Manning with, I forgot who Manning's QB coach was. That's just how all the great QB coach combinations go. They got to be on the same page.
Alrighty, we're going to wrap it up right there, you guys. So I want to thank everybody for listening. This podcast is brought to you by Rells Revenge, official Slim Dev Music, Matt SportsHouse, and AG Management. I want to thank Chris, Sterling, and our two guests, Hunter and Jayden, for coming on today. And we hope to see y'all next week for the final episode in Season 3. This podcast is brought to you by Rells Revenge, official Slim Dev Music, Matt SportsHouse, and AG Management. Stay tuned next week for our final episode of Season 3. See you then.